my friends.
Know me.
Hey, Twitch
Hello,
people.
He's Mus.
Let's see here on the tweeter.
On the Twitter machine.
On my tweeting machine here.
All right, Google Translate.
Nerd Cave Retro. Paste that bad boy.
Do not block me anymore? What does that mean? I don't even know who this person is. Sorry.
I don't know, maybe.
that's the I took the message I got in Spanish, I did Google Translate, and that's what it is. Do not block me anymore. From someone I've never heard of who lives in Cordoba, Spain, and I'm not friends with their Facebook.
Probably a wrong number, I would think.
Well, it's weird because they sent me a link to my own T-shirt store from Pros and T-Shirts. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
That's strange.
Hey, Joey Image, have you checked out these awesome Joey Image shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees?
Francisco.
I've never seen him before.
Wow, that's weird.
That's too good.
I like getting calls, like robocalls from my number. Have you ever had that happen before?
Oh, God. I got an email yesterday that said from Joey Image, and I go,
get
what
those
is
too.
this?
Like, I'm not sending myself anything.
The email that I got yesterday, it had an attachment. Like on my phone, I don't really care about attachments because I know it's not that it's super impossible to give a virus to a cell phone, but I know it's not likely, so
yeah,
whatever. So I opened it, and it was an invoice it was an invoice to me, but not my address, just my name, and it was from plumbing work I had done in San Francisco.
Okay.
I responded, I think you have the wrong guy.
Oh, I was getting stuff from the Astro Ford or something in Pensacola for like months. And then they kept sending me emails about you need to bring in your Ford 96 Ford Explorer in for maintenance. And finally I called, and they kept calling me too. And I'm like, I don't own a Ford Explorer. And they like, oh, we must have gotten you mixed up with somebody else. I'm like, how'd you mix me up? I've never bought anything in Pensacola in my life.
Yeah, right. How do they even get the email address in the first place?
I know, it's so weird. And then they got my phone number somehow, and I'm like, what is this? Please take me off your list.
I get those from a girl who, I don't remember her first name, but she has the same last name as me, and her first name starts with a J, as does mine, and another guy named John, same deal. John starts with a J and the same last name, and I just give out my email address as if it's theirs, I guess.
Yeah,
and then,
I don't know.
Like, don't these people not know? I mean, don't these people know that that's not their email address? Like, or they just want to give just to get rid of it? Like, so now I get all this. I get one of those maintenance things about a car, and I get every year I get time to renew your cell phone service, or 2 years, whatever it is, for that girl.
I got something from AARP the other day.
Did you see my picture on? I posted a picture on. I don't know if it was Twitter or Facebook. I got an AARP like membership thing in the mail a couple days ago, and I put a picture on Facebook. I said, "What the hell is this all about?" Like, I just turned 40. I didn't just turn 70.
If this gets me discounts on the early bird special, I'll take it. But damn, trying to rush me into retirement and shit. I'm only 40. Damn.
Exactly.
Well, actually, we've got quite a few news articles tonight. So if we start to run long, we'll cut short this month in video game history. We'll just do 81 and 86, if that's okay with you guys.
Sweet. Yeah.
And,
I threw that last story in there just because it's kind of breaking news, and I know we've been talking about the Switch online service for a while.
And I meant to add that in there today, and I forgot. But the first two stories kind of go together. So because the first one happened.
Show notes.
Are you in the Google Doc, Joey?
No, I didn't get a link or anything.
Oh shit! So I thought I'd already seen it.
It's okay.
My bad.
I was gonna just go with the flow. I figured everything would be a surprise to me.
I know I have your. I sent it to you before. Why is it not in here? Yeah, I sent it to you.
I will bring it up on the other monitor. Come on. Kushmaha Satoshar is a village of Shatosar Village Development Committee in Danusha District in southeastern Nepal.
Hey Joey, text me
So you
your
know.
email real quick, because it says in
It's
here.
just- It's just joeyimage@gmail.com.
Yeah, I don't know why. It says I've sent it to you. Image at Gmail.
Let me look on. Let me look at my Google Docs.
Oh, there it goes. Huh, that's weird.
Blank resume letter.
I got to keep an eye on the chat room for.
Oh, here we go. All right. Well, it says July 10th, 2017.
Yeah, that was the last time you were on the show.
Oh, okay. There's some stuff in here I don't even know who the hell they are. Charles, I don't know where this stuff came. All right, where's this? All right, there we go. So that just means it was the last time, but it'll. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, it'll still show me the most recent. I get it. All right, cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so the first two stories go together, and
Oh, I did see that. I didn't read it, but I saw that headline.
so we'll talk about that for a few minutes because that's big news, especially for the world of like world record holders. So
Yeah, like Guinness. Yeah.
So I guess we can go ahead and start if you guys are ready.
I'm ready if you guys are.
Alrighty, let's do this.
All right, I'm ready, folks.
3, 2, 1. This episode of the Nerd Cave Retro is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/nerdcave. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
You're listening to the Nerd Cave Network.
Greetings, programs, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And I'm Derek Diamond.
And we have returning guest, podcaster, wrestler, internet personality, Mr. Joey Image.
Ow!
Good evening. Actually,
Good evening.
I don't think I'm returning to this show though, right? Or no?
Yeah, you've
I
been.
don't remember if I. Oh, I have.
Yeah,
I know I've been on like all your other guys'
Yeah.
shows. I just don't remember this one.
it starts to all bleed together after a while.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
can't tell you. I still to this day when I'm when starting this show, I have to consciously make sure I don't say pop culture palette because I want to every time.
It's tough to break that habit.
So what
It's
you
cool
fellas
to be here. This is very cool.
What you fellas been up to this week? We'll start with our guest, Mr. Image. How you been?
Oh, not bad, man. Not bad. I don't. When was the last time I was on this show?
Whew. I have to look back through the
I think-
archives.
I gotta say 2017. I think, right?
Oh yeah.
Stand by. I'll take a look.
It's been at least a year, I would say.
Not that far. It said, didn't it say on the Google Doc like July or something like that?
I don't remember. Yeah, but I can't get back to that because now I'm at the current date. So now the date is updated. Oh, no, July. Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't say it anymore. But anyway, it's been a while, and it's cool to be back, and I love talking about retro games, especially the one that I was streaming earlier.
Yeah. We saved this one for you. So when I asked you about it, I was like, we're talking about doing this game, and I think it was Derek that was like, doesn't Joey like Rygar? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, because we had mentioned it when Joey was on my show. We were talking about retro gaming, like at the end of the interview, and he had brought up the game Rygar, and I had never heard of it. So I will say I did play it earlier today. So I'll have some stuff to throw in for the review.
Was that the first time you played it? Was today?
Yes.
Oh, great. I got to hear your when you get to it.
So did you play the NES version or did you play the arcade version? Because on the virtual console is the arcade version.
I played the NES version.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I downloaded. I didn't even think to look on the virtual console. I just downloaded an emulator and played it for a pretty decent amount this afternoon.
Cool. Actually, speaking of emulators, I almost bought today. There's this thing. What's it called? I saw it in Walmart today, and it actually hooks up to it's a Super Nintendo controller, and it hooks up to, of course, the Super NES, but it also has a little dongle on it that you can hook it up to PC. And I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, but the Edge Super Gamepad. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It was like $15.
Super Gamepad.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Although I've never heard of it, but it sounds.
I looked it up to see if it would work with Mac, but I couldn't find anything to where it would. So I didn't get it. I'm going to do a little more research before I pick one up, because that'd be really good to use as far as an emulator goes. Because it's pretty much just it's an old Super Nintendo controller, but it's got a lot of little switches up at the top for like turbo and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. So if you get a chance,
are there retro emulators for Mac or no?
I don't think so. Because I have right now I have a thumb drive with every single Super Nintendo and Nintendo game ever made, but I have nothing to play them on. I don't have a PC. So
yeah.
You would think by now they would have made some type of emulator for RAMs.
Yeah,
or for Macs.
I've been looking into getting a PC laptop, so I can game better.
Oh yeah. You just some old junky thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may actually be able to send you something. Well, we'll have to talk about that again.
Okay, sounds good to me. Free computer be nice.
Yeah, I have a stack of 18 laptops sitting behind me that some of them are missing stuff. I just got to put stuff together, and I have another one on the way from a Facebook friend. So
sweet.
My girl's like, hey, can we get rid of these 18 laptops sometime? I'm like, what? We can't get rid of them. They're laptops.
Yeah.
I'm sure they work, and none of them work. I mean, like I said, they're all missing stuff. I have to mix and match and put stuff together. But she's just like, she's right. I mean, they've been here over a year now. I haven't touched them yet. I just brought them home from work one day, and they've been sitting there. So maybe to have something to do with one of them would be great.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So what about you, Derek? What you been up to this week?
Well, it's been, for the most part, relatively uneventful. I did have a eventful day. I ran my first ever 15K.
I saw that.
Which was pretty cool. Yeah, it was, for those who don't know, 15K is just under 9.5 miles. I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to do it or not, but I told myself if I can run up to 6 miles on Thursday, I'm going to do it. So I ran 6 miles on Thursday. I said, well, I guess I'm going to do it. So it was very cold, as inconsistent as Florida weather is. It was cold today. It's supposed to be like 70 and rainy tomorrow, so that'll be fun. Other than that, just ran a lot of errands today, getting ready for a Super Bowl party I'm throwing tomorrow. So getting all that stuff together and just learning that people in general are stupid.
Dude, I wrote
a
5-minute stand-up set about stupid people that killed the other night when I did stand-up for the first time. So you're speaking my language.
I saw that tweet, I think. I was very happy to see that, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I remember you saying that you were kind of on the fence about doing it, so I'm glad you did.
Well, I got so addicted to it that I started to research online where I could do open mic nights and stuff, and I found there's a place in Pensacola, Mobile, Hattiesburg, and New Orleans, which is all within like a 2-hour radius of me. So I'm going to start dragging Mr. Wally Phelps with me to some open mic nights and start doing some comedy.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
If you guys come to Pensacola, let me know and I'll come watch.
Oh, I will.
Once you get big, let me know. There's a couple of comedy clubs up here that are awesome.
Dude, I might do that when I come up there in April.
Oh, that would be cool. Oh, I would totally take you to some open mics, man. That would be cool.
I'll make you get up there with me.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm afraid of. People haven't gone any yet. I have stuff written. It's just like I feel stupid saying this, but I can't get up. I have like the nerve thing about getting up in front of a crowd of people and talking. Although I've been doing it for now 18 years in wrestling, but it's not the same thing, man. It's like
it's not.
Like I have to get a good reaction doing stand up, but if I'm doing a wrestling promo and the crowd, I'm supposed to be doing good and the crowds are booing me, then I just turn to a bad guy right on the spot. That's all, and then everything's fine.
Well, hell,
it's literally that easy. But I guess you could do that with comedy, but it probably wouldn't work out well.
I mean, hell, I played drums for 20 years, and I played shows in front of literally 20,000 people before. And that's a lot easier than getting up in front of a room. There, at the bar the other night, there was probably maybe 30, 40 people there, and like you're up on stage and you see everybody's face just like looking at you. It's just
that's a lot for a first time. I just got nervous here.
A little more intimidating.
It's like,
I've got
make me
friends
laugh,
that are,
funny boy.
I've got friends that are kind of well-known comics that are like, dude, I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes before my set. I'm like, I can't. Like guys like Rev Bob Levy and like even Artie Lang is like, oh yeah, come in with Levy, we'll give you 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, that's like starting at the top. I can't do that. Like I need to, I need to grow a set starting from the bottom first.
Yeah. So that's how my week has been. I did some stand up for the first time, and actually the other night,
was that recorded at all or no?
No, I wish I would have given Wally my.
It's gotta be on video,
I know,
man.
but dude, I was so nervous. It like didn't even like register with me to like give Wally my phone and be like, dude, just tape it. And when I got off, dude, I was up there. He said I was up there for exactly 5 minutes because I wrote 5 pages worth of material. And I got off the stage, and literally it felt like it was like that. I don't remember hardly any of it. It went by so fast.
Do it for us right now.
No.
Well, this is on video. It's on audio. It's live.
Yeah. No.
Think of how many people are watching this. There's probably 3 or 4 million.
I don't think anybody wants to hear me tell jokes on here about let's see, I got a whole bit about warning labels, and apparently somebody stuck a curling iron in their ass because there's a warning label on it that says do not use internally.
Wow.
So yeah, I got a whole like 2 minutes out of that. Sorry,
that's
Twitch.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I actually I got Blaster Master Zero on the Switch. Excellent. I've been playing it the last 2 nights.
Is that like a version of the original NES?
Yeah, apparently what they did was they went back and they took the original ROM of the NES version and they basically just updated it. It's sort of like playing a 16-bit version of Blaster Master. And it's basically the same game, but they've got a lot more like power-ups, a few extra levels in there. But the greatest thing about it is there's a save feature. The save feature is so
That's
nice.
the best thing about emulators is you can save now. It's great.
That's one of my biggest gripes about Rygar tonight, but we'll get to that later.
Can somebody watching this please make a Switch emulator so I don't have to pay the $300?
Yeah,
I just want to play Blaster Master and Breath of the Wild, and that's it. And maybe Mario Odyssey.
Switch is so worth it, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played like 4 minutes of like Mario Odyssey at Walmart last week, and I played like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I gave the thing to my girl. They had the display one, and my girl put the controller down. She's like, "Well, I'm oddly interested now." Like, we just didn't care up until that. Like, like she has a Wii. She hasn't used it in years. My nephew, when he turned 9, my sister got him a Wii U for his birthday, and he played the crap out of that. And like I played it, and I just didn't really care. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't see the Switch being so great. And then,
dude, it's
like I said, 5 minutes of Mario Odyssey. I'm like, wow, this is cool. It reminded me of like the 3D like Super Mario 64 almost.
It's the best piece of hardware I've bought in 5 years, probably.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's the best Nintendo console in a long, long time.
I'm gonna have Joey ordering one on Amazon by the end of the show.
During the live. Hey, I'm getting my tax return next week or the week after.
We're doing it live. But let's go ahead and let's move into news. We got a lot of news stories this week. So our first two stories kind of go together. Earlier this week, this is from Polygon.com, the longest-standing video game record declared impossible and thrown out after 35 years. And he's also been banned from the leaderboards going forward. Twin Galaxies, if you never heard of them, they've been the kind of the record holder keepers of the last 35 years or so. The video game record keeper and official source for the Guinness World Records has declared one of the oldest gaming world's records invalid after 35 years. Player Todd Rogers has been stripped of his world record for finishing the simple Atari 2600 racing game Dragster after months of debate over his completion time. Based on the complete body of evidence presented in this official dispute thread, Twin Galaxies administrative staff has unanimously decided to remove all of his scores as well as ban him from participating in our competitive leaderboards. And basically what he was saying is he ran it in a time of 5.51 seconds, but they've been using some sort of I forgot what it's called. They're some sort of program that runs all the different scenarios for video games and stuff, and basically that is impossible. Like basically this program says that it's absolutely impossible for him to have the score. And plus, originally, back in the day, the way they submitted these records was through like Polaroids and stuff, and apparently the Polaroid was smudged where the 1 is. So I think the fastest you could actually do it was something like 5.57 seconds. So if he's lying, then they actually went through and they started to strip all of his other stuff too. And I don't know if that's in this article. I didn't read that far ahead. It says multiple witnesses and otherwise for the particular record, based on the code of the game, they don't see how it's possible to hit 5.54, let alone 5.51. And then I heard an update where they started going through and like some of his records were more than 10 times the score of like the second place person. Like I think he was like Millipede or Centipede. He had like 15 million. And like second place had like 800,000 or something like that. So they were going back through, and they're taking this dude's records away. But yeah, and on that note, there's another one and I actually said this. I was like, I wonder how many of these record holders are going to they're going to start looking at these old records. And of course, I see this pops up yesterday on VentureBeat.com. King of Kong star Billy Mitchell lied, claims Donkey Kong World Record analysis. Donkey Kong fan site has removed 3 high scores from arcade legend Billy Mitchell after an analysis revealed he likely misled the community about playing on real arcade hardware and that he instead submitted emulator gameplay. He previously held the number 20 score on Donkey Kong with 1.062 million points, right behind his longtime rival Steve Wiebe's 1.064 million. Professional gamer and hot sauce magnate now has the number 47 score with his 933,900 result he played in public on an arcade machine in 2004. So I'm wondering really, because like the whole Twin Galaxies thing and all that was kind of a, like being able to submit for these records back then was a little bit suspect. It was a lot of, well, I got this score and here's a Polaroid. It's a lot harder to, fake that stuff nowadays. So I'm wondering, are they going to go back and find all these old high scores are just impossible?
I mean, that's definitely possible. It's just crazy that after so long, the headline says after 35 years that they're just now being able to figure out that this stuff, may or may not be false. Yeah. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
The other records that they're pulling from him, they're for other games though, aren't they? Some of them?
Oh yeah, well, there's all kind of different games they're looking at now. Like this is the one. This article is actually about his Donkey Kong score. They're also going back and looking at, like the guy before. What was his name? The Todd Rogers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going back.
That's what I mean. Like they're going back through all stuff he's done, and like I don't know. It seems weird. Like it doesn't. What's the word? It doesn't relate to those games. It just relates to whatever the hell the game was. The Atari game, I forget now.
Oh, which one?
The Twin Galaxies game?
Yeah.
Oh well, Twin Galaxies was run. They're actually, you could look up a lot of documentaries about Twin Galaxies because they were. I think how it started was Twin Galaxies was actually a an arcade back in the '80s, and that's where all the top record holders would go to the Twin Galaxies arcade and do their epic runs or whatever. But a lot of these, a lot of the scores and stuff, a lot of the high scores, these guys would just submit, and they really didn't look too closely into it. And that's the thing is like, you're talking like these scores were from like 82, 83. There were no digital cameras. There were no, even VCR, like VHS cameras weren't, those were few and far between back then. So like really trying to research this stuff was really, they just had to, like trust what somebody said, or like, they
basically,
and they get like a blurry Polaroid or something. And because even me back in the day, I remember it was around 88 or 89, I used to have, Nintendo Power, subscription, and I remember when I finished Narc when I was a kid, I took a screenshot with the camera so I could submit it to Nintendo Power to get my name in Nintendo Power for actually defeating Narc. Well, you know how a camera, it's not a digital camera, it's a film camera. I had to take my mom's camera and take a couple of pictures of the screen, and then you got to wait 6 months for your mom to take enough pictures to fill up the roll.
Yeah.
Then you go turn it in,
roll,
and you're like, just like, oh my God, you have to wait like a day or two to get your pictures back. And you get your pictures back, couldn't see shit. Like, you couldn't make out what the score was. I was like, oh, come on, man. There's no way I could beat that game again and take another picture. So being able to like actually record what you did was, like not an easy task back then. I'd make it sound like we were in the fucking Stone Age or something, but we kind of were.
Yeah. Yeah, we were back then.
But I don't
it's
know.
just crazy how much that technology's advanced.
Yeah, but this has been in pretty big news this week, and I really wanted to talk about this and get your guys' opinion on this.
Despite the advancement of all that kind of technologies, we buy all this new stuff. We get all these new PCs and all these new video cards and webcams and all this crap, and then we go back and we play NES games.
Yeah,
right.
I love it. I love it, man. I'm never going to stop playing NES games. I mean, especially the one we're going to talk about later. But that's just like, that's what I grew up on. Like, man, that's what I know.
So,
for sure.
I'm in the midst right now of building a new PC, and I'm all my emulators. The first I'm going to put on it.
Yeah, because old games are the best, man. They can
I
be
need a GeForce GTX 1080i.
Yeah.
I mean 1080 Ti to play like Rygar and Contra. And
So, Joey, do you want to do this middle news article here about the world's oldest video game Easter egg?
I'm not even familiar with it.
It's from a game called Starship 1. I've never heard of this before in my life.
Yeah, I've never
I haven't either.
In video game trick. Yeah, I could read the beginning of it. Wait, is this for? Oh, this is in the arcade. This isn't even like the picture of the screen looks like
Star Trek.
I'm looking at my other monitor. It looks like Atari 2600.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For years, the 19... Oh, see, that's funny because then it mentions Adventure right in the first line, which is one of my favorite Atari 2600 games. For years, the 1978 game Adventure has been credited in pop culture for containing the world's first in-game Easter egg. Not long ago, it was suggested that a game called Video Whizball might actually hold that honor, but generally speaking, it was accepted that no game released before 78 contained an Easter egg. Starship 1. I don't recognize this at all. However, evidence.
Never heard of it.
No, right? Neither have I. Evidence suggests that another game may have beaten both of those titles to the historic punch during an interview with Atari. Oh, see, it is. I wonder if it's Atari engineer Ron Miller, former vice president of game publishing at Microsoft. Ed Fries was surprised to hear Miller mention that he once developed an accessible trick for the 77 arcade title Starship 1. That's the year I was born, 77.
Yeah, me too.
That, when found, will grant the player 10 additional free games. So I mentioned that the graphics look like Atari, and apparently this was developed by an Atari guy.
Yeah.
Although it was an arcade game.
Well, actually, it says here the way you get it. I remember somebody talking about this not too long ago. They just found this not too long ago. You have to do the code. You have to do a certain sequence of like button pushes or something, and it would say "Hi Ron" and give you 10 free games.
Who's Ron? The guy's name is Ron Miller.
Yeah, so that's weird.
This is the first and only game I ever programmed. I think it was maybe one of the first games on the back door. I didn't tell people about this, even with Atari, for at least 30 years. That's insane. But I had some code in there that if you did a certain sequence code, it would say "Hi Ron." That's amazing. I wish wild. The screenshot had the "Hi Ron" message in it.
Yeah.
I want to see that screen somewhere. It's not there.
It's weird because the game itself looks like the ship looks like an inverted Enterprise. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
That's
though.
wild.
And we talked about this not too long ago, Derek. I don't know who we were talking to about Easter eggs, and I really don't think we're nowhere near finding all the Easter eggs that have been in these old games. Because honestly, I think the guys that programmed these games probably forgot they even did it.
Yeah.
What was the Dragon Adventure? I loved that game.
Yeah, I don't know what
that was. Where you're the little block and you have to pick up the key and open up the castle, and then the dragon chase you around. But what the hell was the Easter egg in that game?
I don't know.
Wasn't it the one? I think it was mentioned in the Ready Player One book. I think you have to find a hidden key, and it opens a door that says "created by whoever the person was that created the game," and that's how they gave themselves credit for creating the video game. Because back then they never said this game was created by.
Yeah, right. Just whoever. Atari owned everything.
Yeah, but didn't
that's cool.
Didn't Yar's Revenge do something like that too?
God, I forgot about that game.
That sounds familiar. I've never played the game, but I think I know what Easter egg you're talking about.
You did something, and all of a sudden, the developer's name would flash on the screen or something like that. That's cool. But
it's always cool finding video game Easter eggs. My personal favorites, the Zelda Link to the Past. I think it's Chris Houlihan's room. He won some type of sweepstakes where he had his name entered into the game somehow, and you find this room with this little box you can go to, and it says, "Hi, my name is Chris whatever. This is my secret room. Don't tell anyone about it."
That's cool.
That's awesome. But
Derek, never thought to find it, but I know that it exists.
Derek, lead us into this next story.
I knew you weren't going to be a fan of this, but we have to talk about it. This comes to us from GameFragger.com. Nintendo Switch online paid service set to launch in September 2018. Nintendo Switch's online service will transition into a paid service called Nintendo Switch Online. And will be required to play games online. Nintendo Switch Online will grant Switch owners the ability to play compatible co-op and competitive multiplayer games online by signing into their Nintendo account. Additionally, a dedicated smartphone app connects to your Nintendo Switch system, which in turn helps you connect with friends online. The service will cost $19.99 for a yearly subscription. Included in that price is access to a classic game selection of Nintendo titles like Super Mario Bros. 3 and Balloon Fight, as well as special discounts on select digital games from the Nintendo eShop.
Nintendo is the only company that could get away with this, because for months now, I thought, even up until this was announced, I just knew they were going to launch in February. I thought we were going to get on February 1st, they were going to come out and be like, hey, Switch Online's available this month. And I'll be like, all right, let's do this. But no. They want to wait till September, when 2018 is almost over with, a year and a half after the launch of the system. Now imagine if PlayStation 5 comes out and this month, they launch PlayStation 5 and they're like, here's our new console, the PlayStation 5. But PlayStation Network's not going to be available until August of 2019. So sorry. Really? Really?
There'll be riots in the street if that happened.
I mean, come on, Nintendo. Damn. I'm going to play it again just to...
What's the monthly price going to be after it comes out? Did it say?
It's $19.99 for a year.
For a year.
$3.99 for 1 month. $7.99 for 3 months.
Yeah, 20 for a year is not bad at all.
No, not at all.
No, it's not. It just needs to come out.
And they they released this like it was some great thing. Like, we're launching in September. I'm like, you realize that's like 9 months from now? Really, Nintendo? Come on, man. You're not fooling me. I hate it.
But yeah. But we'll all be excited when it does finally show up.
Well,
Because
maybe I'll have a Switch by then. Maybe I'll wait until then to get one so I can just plug it in and go.
Well, I mean, come on. It's like, if they go for 5 years, a console cycle of 5 years, that's a quarter of your console cycle that you don't have an online service.
Right.
What the hell? Like, am I wrong? Please tell me I'm wrong.
No, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. And I'm kind of numb to Nintendo disappointing us with stuff like this. So
See
I'm
this
just kind of
face?
like, yeah, all right, cool.
Look at this face. That's for you, Nintendo. Right there.
I'll have some memes on the Nerd Cave Retro page of that by the end of the night.
I'm looking forward to those.
Well, we are running a little bit behind, so we're going to cut a few of these out, and we'll just do 81 through 86, guys, and we'll go ahead and do this month in video game history. In February of 1981, Konami releases Scramble. That sounds good right now. A nice scrambled egg, that'd be good. First side-scrolling shooter with forced scrolling and multiple distinct levels. You guys ever heard of Scramble?
No, sir.
I have not. I do like scrambled bowls for breakfast.
Yeah, those are nice. I
Yeah.
do not recognize
what
this.
that is.
I don't even recognize the game art or anything. So I don't know.
No, interesting.
Somebody out there screaming at us right now. Have you never heard of Scramble? The best game ever.
How dare you?
I remember Scrabble.
Yeah.
but not Scramble. Yeah, I don't remember this box art either.
Yeah. In February of 1981, Williams Electronics releases Defender.
I remember
I
that.
love Defender. I used to have it for Atari and Commodore 64. I love that game so much.
I got so spoiled with Atari because my sister was dating this. I'll never forget this because this guy was my favorite sibling boyfriend ever, or my favorite sister boyfriend. This guy John, it was loaded. So he had every Atari game, and when they split up, he gave them all to me.
Sweet.
I was like, "Whoa, this is the greatest thing ever!" I remember Combat and Adventure. I had 2 of each. I don't know why I remember that, but it was awesome. But I remember playing Defender in the arcade, like around the corner from my parents' house. There was a little like candy store, and they had an arcade in the back. They had Defender and Commando for like 412 years. They never got rid of either one of them. And I remember playing Defender all the time. It was so much fun.
You ever played Defender, Derek?
It's fantastic. Briefly. I've dabbled in it a little bit.
Dabbled in defending?
No, just the game.
In February of 1986, Namco releases Sky Kid Deluxe, their first game to use a Yamaha YM2151 FM sound chip. That sounds technical.
I don't think I've ever heard of this game either.
That's fancy. Sky Kid
Oh,
Deluxe.
I've never heard of this game.
I've never heard of Deluxe, but when I look at the screenshot, I recognize it.
Yeah,
I
me
recognize
too.
Sky Kid. I know Sky Kid was a playing game.
I think
or an
I
airplane
have
or whatever,
played this before. I think you can like flip upside down and do some stuff. It's sort of like
Yeah, you can. If it's the same thing I'm thinking of, then you can.
I guess it's sort of like barnstorming or something like that.
Interesting. On February 21st, 1986, Nintendo releases The Legend of Zelda, designed by Shigeru Miyamoto for the Family Computer Disk System, the first game in the Legend of Zelda series.
Never
Still
heard
my
of it.
favorite one.
What,
Still my favorite of the series.
What's Zelda? Never heard of this.
It's
Is this like Mega Man?
Oh, God. It's actually a ripoff of Mega Man. No, I mean,
Yeah, they just changed all the blue to green.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, what can you say about this game that hasn't been said? You know, it's the most distinct video game memory I have is playing this game at my aunt's house.
Yeah.
After school. You know, I'm 5 or 6 years old. It introduced me to Nintendo before Mario did, and it's still to this day my favorite gaming franchise of all time. And it all started with this one.
Yeah, it's up there for me. It's definitely in my top 5 of favorite video games of all time.
Yeah.
This
I
is
mean-
the original Zelda was the first game I played where like even my friends' parents were playing it, and I always thought that was weird. But like my buddy Ray, when this game came out, me and this kid Ray used to be like inseparable all up through high school, and his mother used to play it, and she would draw her own maps like before like the player's guide came out and any of that stuff, which I actually have. I should have grabbed that. But before like that stuff came out, she would draw her own maps on that little blue, remember that blue graph paper with the squares on it? It was amazing. And like she got them all right. And then like when the player's guide came out, I would compare like her notes to like the actual thing, and they were like all correct. Like this is amazing. This is still my favorite game in the series, the original.
That's badass.
I like the original, but I still say that Link to the Past edges it out for me, though. I don't know why. There's just something about Link to the Past that just... It like took what the original Zelda did and then just like cranked it up to 11, you know?
Yeah, there are very few games in this series that I actually don't like. I mean, some are obviously better than others, but you know, pretty much every Zelda game I've played, I've enjoyed quite a bit. So that's saying something.
I haven't played all of them, which is I hate to say that, but
dude, wait till you play Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Good Lord, man. Like
I've heard that it's much better on Switch than it was on like Wii U.
Dude, I'm going to tell you this because you're a WoW player too, and I was addicted to WoW for like 5 years. I still love WoW. Yeah. I don't play it because I just don't have the time to be sucked into it like I used to be.
Right.
I get the same feeling in Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild as I do in WoW, and that's saying something. Like just that whole world, like the aesthetic, everything about it, it feels like WoW to me.
You recommend it for Switch then
oh yeah,
Wii U, right?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'm no longer teetering towards. I'm not interested in Switch. I'm going
type on
slowly
your computer,
going to the other side.
Just go on your computer, type Amazon.com, and go up to the search bar. I'm sure they got them in stock. But to round us out,
there's actually surprisingly, there's actually a bunch of them in stock at like the Walmart and Target by my house. Obviously around Christmas there weren't anything, but now when I go in there, there's always at least 3 or 4.
Yeah. Oh, you should have no problem picking one up now anywhere. They've definitely bumped up production.
Man, you're really trying. Nintendo should be. Are they paying you, or are they sending you checks?
No,
I was about to ask that. Like, is Nintendo just like paying you under the table or something?
Pay no attention.
Where's my cut of the money?
There's definitely a little bit of interest, a lot more than there was before when it first came out. But
yeah.
I don't know. I got to talk to my girl. We have a wedding to save for and stuff. But that's not an excuse. I am building the new PC right now, as I said. So.
But to round us out for this month in video game history, in February of 1986, SNK releases Ikari Warriors, which shares many elements with Taito's Frontline from 1982, but adds 2-player simultaneous play and visuals closer to 1985's Commando. It's SNK's breakthrough game in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that I picked up Ikari Warriors a few weeks ago at the flea market, the NES version, and I was like, oh, I remember loving this game as a kid. It doesn't hold up that well.
It's so, and you couldn't save until the second one. So the first one, you would get way to the end and die, and you're like, hey, now I start all over, buddy. What? Like, I must have smashed like 3 cartridges when I was a kid because you can't save anything. I'm like, come on, this is ridiculous.
I loved that game as a kid, and I haven't played it in probably at least 30 years, maybe 28 to 30 years. And going back and playing it a few weeks ago after I got it home, popped it into the NES. Man, that game is hard to the controls suck, and like it does not hold up at all. So I can't recommend Ikari Warriors for your Nintendo collection unless you're just.
If you've never played it, I would recommend at least giving it a shot.
Give it a shot, but you're going to give it about.
Just remember,
10
it's
minutes.
2018 and the game came out in '86.
Yeah. But Derek, tell us about some books this week before we go into our review for the week.
So for you, the listeners of the Nerd Cave Retro podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Currently, I'm listening to Ready Player One, written by Ernest Cline, narrated by Will Wheaton.
Will
of Star Trek. Wheaton. Of Star Trek: The Next Generation fame. Very good book. If you're a fan of 1980s pop culture, definitely check it out. It makes me really excited to see the movie coming out, which I believe is the end of March, right? Like March 30th?
So, yeah.
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
I know the trailer looks great, and so many people I know have been reading the book to prep for the movie, and they all swear that it's great.
Yeah.
So far, I'm really liking it. It's kind of a long read. I think the audio version's like 15 and a half hours long. So it's going to take me a bit to finish it, but
that's a lot
so
of
far,
content
I'm really liking
for free. That's a lot.
It's best 4-letter word.
Yeah,
free.
Free.
But they have other books as well. If you're into gaming, they have books from the Halo series, Gears of War, Mass Effect. They have fiction, nonfiction.
Warcraft.
Yeah.
I have a ton of WoW audiobooks I got from Audible.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Oh, if they do have it, the Warcraft Archives is awesome. I actually read the actual book. Let me see if they have it. If you're interested in Warcraft.
Is that what it's called? Is it the same as... It's not the same as Chronicles, is it?
Actually, let me go grab it real quick, and I'll show it to the screen.
But yeah, they have, pretty much any genre that you can think of. And if you're always on the go like I am, Audible is a great service to have. Yeah, there's the Warcraft Archive book.
I've never even heard of that.
It's got 4 stories in it. One called Day of the Dragon.
Richard Knack, too.
Lord of the Clans.
Oh, okay, I know what that is. I used to have the actual paperbacks. There was a trilogy. There was Day of the Dragon and 2 other things.
Well, this one has stories written by Christy Golden and Chris Metzen in it. And the Chris Metzen story is actually about, which one? It was about Thrall, about how he got his start, which is a wonderful, fantastic story. Let me see if they have it on Audible before we move on. Warcraft Archives. I would highly recommend that if they have it on audiobook. I do not see it. Sci-fi and fantasy, maybe? No, I don't think they have it. Oh, well.
But they've got a lot of other great books, too.
Yeah. They do have Warcraft books. They have Before the Storm by Christy Golden, Illidan, World of Warcraft, Storm Rage, War Crimes, which is a good one.
That's a real good one.
Yeah, so if you're into Warcraft, shoot, go use our code and go get yourself a free Warcraft book on Audible.
And if you want to do that, go to audibletrial.com/nerdcave. audibletrial.com/nerdcave for your free audiobook and 30-day free trial.
And this week we're talking about... Oops. There we go.
There it is.
Game's got some really good music in it. I was very surprised at how good the music was in this game. See, Rygar is a video game created by Tecmo in 1986, which I think Tecmo is probably one of the better developers back in the day. Of course, they did Ninja Gaiden, which is my absolute favorite NES game, and Tecmo Bowl. And I know you guys played some Tecmo Bowl back in the day.
Oh yeah,
we used to do Tecmo Super Bowl tournaments in high school
For
money. It was great.
It was originally released in the arcades in Japan as Warrior of Argus. It's a side-scrolling platform game where the player assumes the role as the legendary warrior battling through a hostile landscape. Main feature of gameplay is the use of a weapon called the disc armor, a shield with a long chain attached to it. It's sort of like using a giant yo-yo as a weapon.
That's funny, actually.
I know this is one of your favorite games, Joey, and it's weird because I've always heard about this game, but even as a kid, it kind of passed me by. I didn't really have any friends that had this game, and it didn't really like. I like the cover art of the cartridge now, but as a kid, it really didn't do much for me. But now going back and I would have loved to play this game as a kid. I think I would have had a lot more tolerance for it as a kid, as opposed to being an adult. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the game a lot, but I'm going to give it a huge ding because of a lack of, I think you know what I'm going to say, Derek, a lack of
save feature.
And no.
What's the other one?
What's it called? The password.
He doesn't even remember.
No password feature.
No password feature.
Well, but if you die when you hit start, you continue where you left off.
Yeah, but
so
I'm talking about. I'm not going to sit and play this whole game in one sitting.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, you just leave it on pause and go to school and come back the next day, and
Yeah,
that's
but I'm paying the electric bill now. That doesn't happen. I'm not using Dad's money anymore.
You know what? There's an interesting Rygar tie-in, and I thought about this recently, and it brought back my love for Rygar. But the place where Rygar takes place is called Argus. It's Planet Argus, whatever. That's why the name was Warrior of Argus. And now the new planet in WoW is called Argus.
Really? I didn't know that.
Same spelling, same everything. Yeah. So now we've gotten off Azeroth and now we're on Argus. I mean, obviously everything is all the zones are there, but they've just added a zone called Argus recently, and so it reminded me when I first heard of that, I was like, "Well, that's the same." Like, are we going to see like a little Rygar homage or something? I haven't seen anything yet, but I think it would be awesome if we did.
Well, the cool thing about this game, the graphics aren't spectacular, but they work for what the game is.
Yep.
And the coolest thing about this game is for an early Nintendo game, you can see that the roots of Castlevania started with this game because it reminds me a lot of Castlevania. Yeah. You go through and you get all sorts of
the weapon is almost like super similar.
Yeah, and you go through and you have to get like certain items to be able to progress through the game. Like you have to get like a grappling hook. You have to get a crossbow. What's the other one? Where you hook onto a rope and you like swing across.
Oh, the pulley.
Yeah, the pulley system. And you have to go through like a lot of times I would get to certain parts like you go into a cave and there's like this old man sitting in the cave and he's like, you can't go any further unless you get, the grappling hook. And I'm like, well, it would help if you would tell me where the grappling hook is. Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing when I was playing it earlier today. It's like, you can't go anywhere until you have the grappling hook. What?
Yeah.
Where is said grappling hook?
I remember like when it came out playing it and like just remembering where stuff is, and now I have to like pause it and then go. I have to tell my Twitch viewers like, hold on, give me a second. I need to go to Google real quick to find out where the hell I'm supposed to be going. And then you got to go back like 3 levels, and find some other door that I don't even remember existed. I still love that game though, and in fact, I streamed it for 30-40 minutes before we went live, and the music is that's like almost my favorite part of the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Tecmo always had great music with their games, especially like, with Ninja Gaiden. To me, Ninja Gaiden is the best NES soundtrack. of all time. Like every level has a different theme, and each theme really fits that level, and it just gets stuck in your head, and it's really like pulse pounding type of chip tunes. But I really had a lot of fun playing this game. But like I said, it is a really long game. Like I don't even know.
Oh yeah.
How far from the end I even was, like I tried to do last night. Actually, I got on YouTube and was looking at sort of like a playthrough. Even like the speed runners, it takes you over an hour just to speed run this game. Like an hour, and I think like the fastest one was like I saw it was like an hour and 4 minutes or something like that. Like if that takes you that long to speed run. That's not a speed run.
No, that's just a run.
That's a run, But it's crazy.
I remember as a kid not liking that because I remember not knowing where. I don't know how far in I am. I don't know how far away from the end I am, and I hated the ending because you go through all this. Like you said, it's super long. There's a million different levels. Sometimes you have to go back. Levels to find other hidden doors you couldn't find before. Same thing with like when you get the grappling hook, you have to go all the way back to the beginning level. To climb up a tree you couldn't climb up before because you didn't have the grappling hook. So like stuff like that, and then I don't know, whatever. This isn't a spoiler. The game came out in like 1988 or whatever the hell.
Well, that's the thing. It falls into the same traps as Blaster Master did. Like you got to do all this backtracking and try to remember where you've been, and it's so ambitious for the time. Because you've got games surrounding that are like Super Mario Brothers had just come out, which is pretty simple. You got Duck Hunt and like
also no save feature, by the way.
Yeah, no save feature, but you can finish Super Mario Brothers in one sitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you've got like it was kind of like these are the earliest games with like that kind of ambition behind them. That like. As far as like Legend of Zelda and those type of games, they were, at least Zelda had a save feature to it. But you've got these games that are like Blaster Master and Rygar, these really really long games with not even a password feature to it. Like, come on, guys, what? Like, did you forget? Like, what the hell were you thinking?
Why did some games have it and some didn't? That was a big argument in my head all the time.
It just makes no sense. Something I noticed whenever I was playing this game, with this and games like Zelda, do you think that kind of laid the groundwork for like the open world type games like Skyrim, where it's a little bit more? Because something I noticed with Rygar is it was more free flowing than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah.
The
fact that you can go back and forth to other levels and stuff is like is almost exactly what you're talking about. I like that a lot. I always thought that was cool. I didn't like Mario, for example. I couldn't go back like up the pipe to outside and the original, the beginning of 1-1 because I already passed all that. That always bothered me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what I thought I was going to do. Like what I thought I was going to go back and do, but I couldn't go back there. But Rygar, I can go wherever I wanted, completely open world. And even if I was doing a 2-hour run, if I wanted to play it for 8 hours, I just didn't progress. That's all. Yeah. I would just stand there and keep killing stuff.
Yeah.
And if I wanted it to be that long, I could make it that long.
And I was going to actually bring it up tonight about excuse me, about why Rygar never had like a franchise. But then you sent me something today, Joey. They actually did a Rygar 2 for the PlayStation 2. Called Rygar: The Legendary Adventure.
It was almost like not necessarily a remake, but it was an update, I would say, maybe of the original. There was a lot of stuff added to it where, to me, it felt like a different game, and it was 3D also because it was 400 years later when the PS2 had a lot more power than the NES, obviously. But I think it was 2004 or 5 it came out.
It says
or
it was
2
released
maybe, right?
in November of 2002.
Yeah, 2002. Right. Actually, then it came out on the Wii in 2008, which I never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
But yeah, this definitely seems like the kind of game that could have gone further, especially like on the Nintendo
God of War.
And even onto the Super Nintendo. Yeah, like it that's exactly what it reminds me of. Is like like this is the inspiration for the God of War series.
Yeah. I thought that the first time I played I love God of War. I've beaten 1, 2. I never beat 3. I'm 4. I guess was supposed to come out 4,000 years ago too. I don't know what happened, but anyway. But this has always reminded me of that. The first time I played God of War, I thought, wow, this is like an updated, like modern, current version of Rygar.
Yeah.
And I love them both. I'll always love Rygar. I'm trying to find a poster, like the small ones that the NES games used to come with.
Yeah.
From Rygar, and I can't find it anywhere. I can't even find like anyone like doing reprints or anything like that.
I miss when they used to do stuff like that. I remember getting posters in the game carts. I had posters, like I had like a Star Tropics poster. I remember the big Now You're Playing with Power poster that had all the games on it. It used to have that stuck right on the wall, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta find that poster, like at least a reprint of it. I would love to have that like right up on the wall behind me. Now You're Playing with Power.
I remember playing the PS2 version of Rygar, or the sequel or whatever, and I got stuck at one point, and it wasn't me. It was like I looked it up, and there was some kind of glitch in the game or whatever, where if you do a certain thing early on, which I didn't know about until I got there, like it would screw up some other part of the game where you just couldn't do it. It was some kind of weird programming glitch or something that I had heard about. I don't even remember what it was. I could see the picture of the screen in my head, but I could never get past that, so I just gave up. I didn't want to start all over, and I haven't played it since, which was a very, very long time ago.
It says also for the original Rygar, there was a bug in the PAL version. The PAL version of the NES game reportedly contained a computer error which inadvertently increased substantially the difficulty of the final portions of the game, particularly in beating the final boss. The PAL version limited the player's tone and last stats to 1,023 points instead of 4,095, which meant that there was less maximum life and noticeably less damage to enemies. That sucks.
Good thing it didn't happen here.
That's pretty awful.
Did either one of you guys beat it?
No.
Or no?
I don't even know how far away from the end I was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said I'm going to spoil the ending for you because when I was a kid, it pissed me off. Like we said, all of the effort you had to go through and how long it was, and going back through levels to do other stuff that you couldn't do originally and all that stuff. And then like you get to the boss and you beat him, and like a window opens and there's a bird and it says congratulations.
What?
Exactly.
Really?
The first time I saw that, I said, "Are you insane?" I think it's like congratulations, and then if you wait, like there's a scroll that says like you have brought peace to the land or something like that. But it's just like one quick little sentence. No, I don't remember if there's long credits or anything like that after that, but I don't believe there was. I just remember this window and this stupid bird that I wish I could punch. I used to shoot it with the light gun when I would play it at home. I would take the light gun and try to shoot the bird. But yeah, I remember being so disappointed in that. I mean, luckily now I can beat it in a half hour just using cheat codes and emulator stuff. But
there were actually very few games that I could actually beat as a kid without some sort of I never got the Game Genie or anything like that. And the only codes that I knew for stuff was stuff that I got out of like Nintendo Power. Like what was some of code? I can't remember some of the stuff I used to do. Like I would get codes out of Nintendo Power to give you 10 extra lives or something like that. I think like even Final Fight for the Super Nintendo, like they showed you how to get to the menu screen to be able to change the difficulty and like boost up your extra lives and all that kind of stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can't.
That was my favorite Super NES game.
Yeah, I think you got to press. It's something weird. You can look it up. It's like you got to press up and the left trigger.
Now I'm excited.
And you can actually play the soundtrack. It's really cool.
That's cool. I love that game so much that when I had my retirement match, like my last wrestling match where I was retiring because of my neck injuries or whatever, I actually begged the promoter to name the show Final Fight, and he did. Wow. You probably can't see it. The poster's behind me, though. And I just took the graphic right off the box, and I was like, this is my last match, so it kind of fits. And I'm like, can you use this name? Because I love this game, and it kind of fits the thing. He's like, yeah, sure. And so we called it Final Fight. I stole the graphic right off the game box and everything. It's really
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's awesome.
That's one of my top favorite Super Nintendo games. Even to this day, I still love playing that game.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, to go back to Rygar, I've been having fun playing it. But like I said, if you're gonna play it, I would recommend emulating it. That way, you can at least have a save feature. Because I recommend getting it for your collection because it is kind of one of those cult classic, Nintendo games, and the box art's nice. It's good to have for your collection, but it's not something you're going to play often. But I think if you were going to emulate it, you probably would play it more often, having a save feature. So as far as the original Nintendo version of it, out of 10, I would probably give it a 6.5. Just for the sheer fact that there's no way to save it. And that sucks. It's awful. It breaks the game for me. If you don't have a save feature, well, I'll give it a 7. It gets a nice C-. If it would have had a save feature, it would probably be up to like a B+, probably.
I like the arcade graphics better than I liked the Nintendo graphics, but of course, they were more powerful. But I would give this game an 8. I think the no save feature loses 1 point, and just the length and not knowing where the hell you're going, and not knowing level. There's not even, like I said, levels before, but I don't know how else to describe it. But there's no like level 1 or level 2 or whatever. Yeah. Just that this is the world and go screw around and figure it out on your own.
See, and that's another thing they could have they should have.
I like the open world open-endedness of it, but not to that extent.
They could have
give me a clue somewhere.
They could have at least.
They just kind of throw you right in.
Like a map feature or something that you could access by hitting like the select button or something to at least
that
see
would have been cool.
Kind of where you are in the world.
Yeah,
because it is like
looking at
it's this vast, huge open world, and like you just and you're always backtracking and doing stuff, so it's really hard to remember where the hell you're at.
Yeah. It's really tough for me to give this a grade because I've just had such brief experience with it. I'd have to play it a little bit more, but I will say it's not what I expected with the open world feel to it. I thought it was just going to be a traditional side scroller. But I will say so far I am liking it. I mean, the lack of save feature kind of sucks, but that's why I have an emulator.
Yeah, at least you're playing the emulated version.
Yeah, and from what
I do look forward to playing it more.
From what I heard, I was on one of the videos I was watching last night that the actual arcade version is quite different because it's just a straight side scroller, while the NES version is more of a platformer. And I've never,
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I've never played the arcade version at all. I didn't even know there was an arcade version. The only version I knew of was the Nintendo version.
You can get an emulated version of that and try it.
Well, you can get that on the Virtual Console. So the actual arcade version.
The arcade version? That's cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting that wait, they have the NES version as well or no?
I don't think so. They don't. They have the arcade version. They don't have the NES version. They might have changed it by now, because what I was looking up said something like as of 2011 or something. The only one they had was the arcade version.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you could play it on the Switch in September.
Yeah, whole 8 months from now, assholes.
Oh man.
So,
good stuff.
Do you think I'm being too rough on it, Joey? Do you think I'm being a little too harsh?
Yes.
Because don't get me wrong, it's a fun game.
But you didn't play it back then, you said, though, right? You didn't play it as a kid.
No, I never did. I have no nostalgia for this game whatsoever. I'm just coming at it fresh.
I completely understand that.
See, and that's why I kind of went a little bit easier on Strider the week before last, too. Like, that's another game that... has
never got into that.
it's very.
I had that game. Just
It's
never.
a lot like Rygar. There's a lot of, platforming. There's a lot of backtracking and then having to go back, because there's different levels within the levels that you can't access without getting, a key from this other, other part of the world. Then you got to go back, and then, there is there's no save system. There's just a password system. But at least it had that, and it's not that it's not that. I would take a password system. If you're not going to give me a save system, at least give me a password system. If you don't give me a password system, then what the hell were you thinking? Especially if you're going to make a game that, if you were to play this straight through and knew where you were going and knew what you were doing, this game would still probably take 3, 4, 5 hours probably. And that's a large chunk of time to sit playing one game.
Yeah.
Well, I used to leave my NES on pause when I went to school, and then when I came back, I would resume.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure my dad loved me when I was a kid.
I didn't tell my parents that. My Nintendo was in my bedroom. I didn't tell them I did that. I would turn it off. I would turn off I would pause it, turn off the TV, and I would put something in front of the thing, so you couldn't see the little red light was on.
I was going to say that. I was like put like a game cartridge in front of it or something, so you couldn't see the red light.
Yeah, just a box or something.
And they were none the wiser.
No,
I know when I got the NES Classic, that was the first game that I put on it when I hacked it. Was Rygar.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, I'm trying not to be harsh on it, but at the same time, I am coming at it with a 2018 aesthetic. I think I would have been a lot easier on it if I had played it as a kid. But like I said, this one really passed me by as a kid. I didn't know anyone that played it, and I never even saw this game like in person until I got it a few weeks ago. So I've been playing it for a few weeks now. I don't even know if I'll ever finish this game, unless I get like an emulated version, or unless they come out with it for Switch Online, which that would be totally fine with me. If they do that, hell yeah, I'll play it all day, all night. Give me a freaking save feature.
I was going to say with no save feature.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like it.
I could see them listening to this and having a save feature for everyone except for you.
Yeah. You don't get a save
feature. This is what you get.
That'd be my luck. Or my save feature will be broken. The code is broken or something. Oh, man.
But it would be good publicity for the show.
Password is no save.
So what about you, Derek? What'd you say you're going to be doing next week again?
Next week, I am going to be reviewing Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, and it's actually it's played in the same style as the original arcade game, but there's a bit of an extension to it. It's actually quite a bit of a longer game than the arcade version. So I recently rediscovered it on the 3DS eShop and been playing that the last couple of days. So that's what I'll be reviewing next week.
Awesome. And then after that, don't forget, everybody, we're taking a 2-week hiatus because of my Disney vacation. And then after that, the weekend of February 24th and 25th, Derek and I will both be at Pensacon. So come out, say hi, and we'll be at the Survey panel on Sunday at 5 o'clock at the Grand Hotel. Derek, did you ever find out which ballroom we're in, or do I need to look that up real quick? Because I should probably.
It's not actually. I don't think it's actually listed.
Oh, it
just says the Grand Ballroom.
Okay. Because I'm going to be on Current Geek again this Friday, and I want to have all that info before I go on the show, so I can tell everybody where to come see us. You can watch the movie, and you can talk to all of us. It's going to be a cast panel at the Grand Hotel at Pensacon, February 25th. If you're going to be at Pensacon, let us know. Maybe we can meet up, say hi, and I'm definitely going to be looking for retro games while I'm there, because I know there's always a couple of vendors there every year selling retro games. And actually, that's where I got Castlevania last night. I think you talked me into it, Derek, if I remember correctly.
I did.
Yeah.
You were on the fence, but I was like, It's right there. You got to do it.
I'm glad you did too, because I think other than Ninja Gaiden, Castlevania is the only other game I play like all the time.
That's one of the best games for original NES.
It is. It's one of my
Yeah,
highest recommendations, and I still can't get Castlevania 3. I've been looking for it on Castlevania on eBay past couple of months, and I can't ever get my hands on one. And I lost a bid for Zombies Ate My Neighbors last week too. Somebody came in and sniped me at the last second. Bastards.
Right?
So I may just go straight out and just buy one at the Play and Talk, because that's one of the games I really want is Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
That's one of the best Super Nintendo games. Yeah. So, Joey, before we go, tell everybody where they can find your stuff, where they can find you, and go buy a t-shirt.
Check me out at twitter.com/JoeyImage, facebook.com/RealJoeyImage, and please buy a shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/JoeyImage. There's 9 designs now. They're $20 each, so you can skip Starbucks for one day and buy a shirt instead, and know that the money will be going to my wedding, so it's for a good cause, and my medical bills too, but the wedding is more important.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I'm going to put that in the show notes too. So go get yourself a Pro Wrestling Joey Image t-shirt and help a brother out.
Please.
So Derek, what you got coming up this next week over at the Derek Diamond Experience?
So this week you'll be hearing my interview with Pensacon guest and star of Warehouse 13, Mr. Eddie McClintock. And then the following week, I'll be doing a roundtable interview / discussion with the staff of Pensacon itself. So you'll be getting to hear kind of the behind the scenes work of what goes on into putting a convention together. So Eddie McClintock will be this Thursday. The following Thursday will be Pensacon staff. So a couple of good episodes coming out over the next few weeks.
Fantastic.
Over at... you can follow the show on Twitter at D-Diamond Podcast, also on Instagram and Facebook at that same address, D-Diamond Podcast.
As far as the pop culture palette goes, we just released a new episode this last weekend. We talked about... What did we talk about? We talked about is this current climate of oversensitivity, is it killing comedy? And it was kind of a large discussion we had over there. If you're interested in listening to that, you can find us on @PCP Show on Twitter. You can go to the website pcpradio.com and go check us out. As far as the Nerd Cave Retro goes, please go head over to iTunes, leave us a review, or wherever you download the show at. I want to say one more time, thank you, Joey, for coming on the show. You're welcome here anytime, sir. Let me know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. This has been great. I love talking retro games with you guys. You know that.
Let me know what games you want to talk about. I got the whole list there on the Google Doc. So let me know what you want to talk about.
Excellent.
But let me go ahead and play our music here if I can find it. Oh, that's not it. God damn it. Wrong music. One of these days I'll figure it out. If you would like to email us, you can email us at not Pop Culture Palette, damn it, at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. You can find us over at nerdcaveretro.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro, at jfunktastic, at Derek_Diamond, and at JoeyImage. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro. So Derek, tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
You've been listening to a Nerd Cave Network production.
Well, that was a fun show.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm looking up Rygar stuff on eBay now, and there's a dude that's got factory sealed original game from Nintendo, in a plastic case thing with the COA on and everything. $1,800.
Whoa! Hello.
Wow.
It says mint, very rare, brand new, factory sealed, and it's in this case. There's a lot of just the cartridge for like $4 or $5, and then there's a lot of complete in box for like $200 or $150. I just want the poster. I'm not paying $100 to get the poster out of the box.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the Twitch stream. So goodbye, Twitch and YouTube. We will see you next week. Bye.